Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the uncommon bug ground type Pokemon Nincada, the Trainee Pokémon, its equally uncommon bug flying type evolution Ninjask, the Ninja Pokémon, and its alternate, exceptionally rare bug ghost type evolution Shedinja, the Shed Pokémon. While this family might be an oddity to the extreme when it comes to the insectoid world, the members of the Nincada family are quirky creatures that can more than show the evolution can be more than meets the eye when attention is paid to them.
Nincada have pale white bodies with exoskeletal marks on the thorax and abdomen, having pale white back legs and brown front legs where their claws are located. Their head is a pair of sensitive white antennae on the front of their face and black eyes with green irises, and they have a small pair of non-functional pale green wings on their abdomen. The evolved form, Ninjask, have a black and gold patterned exoskeleton with small grey lower limbs and a larger front pair with a single white claw each, as well as grey mouth parts on their head. They have large, orb-like red eyes, and the wings have grown into white and red tipped structures that are more than functional and enable these creatures to fly at exceptional speeds. Their alternate evolution, Shedinja, have brown, papery bodies that are vaguely Ninjask shaped, though rounder in form and with a grey abdomen and thorax and completely empty eyes. They have small horns on their head and a split back whose ends look like wings from the front, hiding a large black hole in their back into their hollow interior, and they perpetually have a white, halo-like structure floating above their heads.
Nincada and Ninjask are closely related to non-Pokemon species of modern cicada and appear to share a remarkably similar life cycle with them.
Nincada spend much of their life hidden underground and almost never come out into the open unless it is nighttime. This is because their exoskeleton, while exceptionally sturdy, is also highly vulnerable to heat and can easily be baked to a crisp after just a few hours of sun exposure. Nincada feed on the nutrient-rich juices within tree roots as their sole source of nutrition, which primarily explains why they are almost never found outside of forests. For the sake of convenience, Nincada often use their fairly sharp claws to dig through the soft soil surrounding clumps of tree roots in order to create fairly large hollow spaces that not only simplify the feeding process, but also provide a comfortable nesting area. Nincada have been known to spend as much as 10 years underground at any given time, only coming onto the surface at night to explore or find a new habitat, and will grow fairly slowly throughout their entire lifetime. While some Nincada take longer to evolve than others and might pick up a few interesting moves in the process, almost all wild Nincada evolve after spending around 8 to 10 years underground. Once they finally move above ground and evolve into Ninjask, however, these creatures take on a much more active lifestyle and grow much quicker than before. At this point, they spend the rest of their lives feeding on tree sap for nutrition, though they will also eat small rodents on occasion. Unfortunately, Ninjask in the wild rarely live more than a year or so after evolving, but those in captivity can often last for a decade or more if taken care of properly. As a consequence of their underground lifestyle, Nincada are virtually blind and are unable to see much more than fuzzy colors even when in bright sunlight. As compensation, Nincada use the two large antennae on their heads to sense their surroundings physically.
While this makes life underground fairly simple, this poor eyesight makes life above ground exceptionally hectic for Nincada and effectively gives them yet another reason to stay underground, though their combined sensory systems can give them compound eyes as a base ability, while those that are more skittish can instead have run away as a hidden ability.
For the brief moments that they have to clamber above ground, however, Nincada benefit from their exceptionally sturdy shells and a chemical they regularly release from their abdomen that makes their exoskeleton bitter, in turn placing them among the insectoids least targeted by predatory birds. In battle, Nincada are fairly limited and cannot really do much other than weather physical blows while slowly dealing damage to the opposition, a tactic that only proves useful to trainers that are just starting off on their journey. Thankfully though, Nincada are actually quite smart and can be used for a number of functions unrelated to battling, in particular operations that require a large amount of excavation through soft soil. During the secret base and the super secret base craze, this made Nincada one of the most common Pokemon used by young trainers trying to make secret bases within earthy terrain, though their use was rather limited in rocky terrain unless they knew the Metal Claw attack. As far as professional battling goes though, these creatures are usually looked down upon and are only valued for the usefulness of their evolved forms.
Although Ninjask lose much of their protective exoskeleton upon evolving, they are more than compensated for this loss with a substantial increase in physical strength, access to an interesting array of moves, including Double Team, Fury Cutter, Screech, Swords Dance, Slash, Agility, Bug Bite, and X-Scissor, the first three which are gained immediately after evolving, and an unbelievably large increase in their movement speed.
While impressive speed is not a feature uncommon to insectoids in general, Ninjask literally break all boundaries and are literally the fastest natural-born organisms on the planet. In many cases, Ninjask can move so fast that the light bouncing off of them doesn't reach the eyes of an observer before the Ninjask has moved again. In effect, they can become invisible to virtually all forms of human eyesight. However, because sight and sound are received by the body in two distinct ways, Ninjask can still be heard at all times. But this doesn't make locating them any easier because the droning sound produced by the rapidly beating wings can generate massive headaches among listeners if heard for more than 30 minutes or so at a time. Ninjask are also notoriously difficult to train because of their rather immature mannerisms. Unless they are trained properly, Ninjask will rarely listen to their owners and will instead cry shrilly on a constant basis which, coupled with their intense droning sound, can often prove to be too much for any one person to handle. Nonetheless, Ninjask are quite popular among trainers that like to take large risks at the chance of a big payoff. Although Ninjask are inherently weak and can oftentimes be defeated as easily as a fly swatter would splat a housefly, the fact that they can move faster than the eye can react can make them almost impossible to hit.
Add to that a speed boost ability as a base ability and infiltrator as a hidden ability, as well as a selection of moves perfectly designed for messing with the opposition, and it can easily be seen why Ninjask are popular choices for trainers that like to use speed tactics to win battles.
All of this is duly reflected in their stats, as while most of the base stats are below average for a fully evolved bug and flying type Pokemon, the base attack stat is about average for a fully evolved bug type Pokemon, and, as you might have guessed, the base speed stat is above average for a fully evolved Pokemon of both of their types, and in fact, they have the highest base speed stat out of all non-legendary Pokemon, more than making them an insectoid incarnation of speed itself.
With all of this noted on Nincada and Ninjask, however, it must be said that when Nincada go above ground and evolve into Ninjask, they end up leaving behind about half of their original exoskeleton in the form of an empty shell.
Under most circumstances, this chitin construct simply crumbles apart shortly after evolution and becomes integrated into the underlying soil. In extremely rare cases in the wild, and if a trainer has an empty slot in their team and a spare Pokeball, however, something bizarre will happen. The empty shell will become a Shedinja. Even among ghost types, Shedinja stick out like a sore thumb for their incredible bizarreness. They don't breathe, eat, or move a single portion of their body without moving the entire shell. The reason for this, as recent studies seem to indicate, is that Shedinja are in effect lost spirits that are merely borrowing the empty husk as a body. Since the chitin comprising the husk is extremely brittle, movement of any kind will likely destroy it and force a lost spirit to find another one, which doesn't appear to be an easy task. In addition, the husk has its own physical limitations that restrict the spirit from doing a whole lot. While it can still attack, the spirit must generate temporary limbs out of spiritual energy in order to use physical attacks, and must constantly generate a shield of spiritual energy in order to ensure that any attack does not hit the shell and destroy it. More importantly, although Shedinja inherit the higher base attack stat of Ninjask, they also inherit the base defense stat and maintain all of the pre-evolved form's other base stats, with the exception of HP, which is automatically and permanently reduced to 1 HP due to the extreme brittleness of the shell. Shedinja learn a few interesting ghost-type attacks and techniques as they develop, namely the Shadow Claw, Spite, Confuse Ray, Shadow Sneak, Phantom Force, and Shadow Ball moves, but their overall combat abilities are exceptionally poor and would seemingly make them useless in battle.
However, Shedinja do have a secret weapon that is so unique and complex that it is the only Pokemon known to possess it. The Wonder Guard ability.
It appears that because the spirit occupying a Shedinja is still unconnected to the Shed shell as a physical, organic, yet non-living body, it has the ability to channel its natural abilities completely within the construct without damaging it. In short, the spirit can transfer its immunities to the host. The unique energy barrier that results is a powerful weapon that can seemingly deflect physical blows and dissipate projectile attacks if the damage they deal is not super effective to Shedinja. Since Shedinja are constructs consisting of an insectoid exoskeleton and a spirit, this means that they can be only naturally damaged by fire, flying, rock, ghost, and dark type attacks, granting them complete immunity to the other 13 types. This makes Shedinja extremely dangerous creatures to face in battle and almost insurmountable without proper knowledge of their ability, in turn giving them a reputation of being a scourge against the unenlightened. Unfortunately, this ability is not completely foolproof, as Shedinja can still be damaged by adverse weather conditions, status conditions, moves like spikes or struggle, and abilities that can cause direct damage from physical contact like rough skin and iron barbs. It is duly noted that this ability cannot be exchanged via skill swap or roleplay, nor is it affected by abilities like the devastating Mummy, Turbo Blaze, or Terravolt abilities, but a trace ability will still copy it normally. Lastly, it should be noted that, despite their Wonder Guard ability, Shedinja still have one huge weakness: the hole in their backs where the adult Ninjask crawled out. From here, it would be possible to actually see the spirit and exercise it if such skills are known by an individual. The spirit occupying Shedinja is more than aware of this though, and will actively remove the spirit of anyone who tries to peer into the hollow interior of its shell. They may not have any base stats at all that are above average for a fully evolved bug and ghost type Pokemon, the base attack stat only being just about average for the former, but this ability alone, with the right setup, can still potentially make them untouchable creatures more than capable of proving to be a nightmare to face without the right tools in battle.
Though the evolutionary line might be more than a bit abnormal, the members of the Nincada family are still fascinating creatures that can make life irritating for those that can't get past their tricks of the trade. You might need to keep a watch on how many Pokemon are with you if you wish to get the whole lot when evolution comes around, but the careful attention can be worth it if you're looking to get the perfect 2-for-1 evolutionary deal.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure that you don't stand too close to them or look at them the wrong way. Having your ears damaged from listening to the movements and cries as adults might be bad enough, but look at their shed shell the wrong way and it might just take that as a threat and attempt to take your spirit with it for looking where eyes should not wander.
Thank you all for watching this video. It is always a pleasure to help teach others about the world of Pokemon and the many facets of it that exist in both the world we call home and the world they call home. If you'd like, please leave a comment and subscribe and ring the bell to this channel to get regular updates on content and anything else that might be going on. You can find me and my written work on DeviantArt under the name Utitus and be informed of information and content uploads on my Twitter page and my Patreon page. Donations are always welcome. Always remember, the world of Pokemon is a vast and varied place, and there's no telling what secrets might be hiding just around the corner. So keep watch, stay vigilant, and always prepare for the unexpected. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.